Hi and welcome back to yet another another episode of Skyline's podcast. So we have been shooting non-stop this entire day. Last episode I told all these episodes are shot in a single day, so that you know that we are actually putting our time and effort into creating content. And so today we have been discussing a lot about marketing and Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and stuff like that. And today we are also going to be talking about data privacy. So data privacy is basically how companies and other organizations across us control our data and what they do with it. And we are just going to deep dive something into that. So yeah, Ram, what data do you have about yourself on the internet?
About me, I think they have much of everything. If they have started collecting personalized data, that is individualized data from 2009. I think that's when I had my Facebook account. So if they,
I think that will be the first thing, right? Before that, it will be the email, like your
email. So I was not into email. So my first interaction with data collection would be 2009, sometime using Facebook. So they would have my very old love letters.
Right, the photos of what we have posted at that time. Yeah, we were in groups. Like we'll have a set of 3 friends in one group, and we'll talk in that group.
Memories.
Yeah. So I think from that time, I think we've come a long way where data is oil right now, and a lot of companies entirely rely on data to build their businesses and strategize and whatnot. And I think we are in an era where it is the first time it is measurable, and you can make actionable decisions using this data. And we have this concept of big data, and right now this machine learning is learning all these data and it is thinking on its own. This AI, this is coming in. So do you think we have come to a point where it is like too much of data that we have given out, or still giving out, because like our phones are connected to location and it's always listening to us?
The data that we are providing, is insignificant in the whole
Scheme
game.
of things. Yeah.
The data that we provide is just used to manipulate us. People already manipulation was a technique and is a technique that has been used for long. But now, because of all this data, they are able to segment us, target us, and do it in a more effective way, in a more cost-effective way. Data collection, data, it has all been part of our lifestyle, I think, for a very, very long time. You take industries, you take institutions. If an industry or anything industry has been collecting data, not just of their people, of their process, of their machines, of their systems, the company would have effectively grown, because data is the only thing that shows you pattern, that shows you numbers, that shows you where you are wrong, where you can develop. It gives you places where you can take calculative decisions, reduce the risk of your decisions. And one of the biggest works that human beings have been doing, the best work that human beings have been doing so long has been taking decisions. So data has always been part of us, and now we are currently put into this concept called data privacy. Previously, companies kept their own data, their process data, their formula data, their scrap data, or whatever data that they had as a secret. That was their secret, that was their success. So, and now marketing companies are also getting these data, and they have all these big giants that we see, they have this data. And that is when we have, that data is now infiltrating into human beings rather than into organizations or anything. It is being massively into, it is a new kind of technology actually, because when we look at the education system, or the nationalism or the religion, all these things are just forms of data. Maybe religion was formed long time back, before we had actual boundaries. It was kind of a business. It was a method of
Trade
becoming
and everything.
big, and confining ourselves into states, countries, or by language, and naming ourselves having boundaries and borders itself is data. So we have always been, there has never been data privacy ever,
Right.
ever. So we will not, we cannot expect there to be data privacy again. But misusing this data by these big corporates for money is the one thing that we
That has
have
to be
to,
concerning.
that has to be monitored. You should not misuse data for money. You can use this data for a lot of good things. You can take data of, about health, about wellness, about diseases and all these
Logistics to cut
logistics, the
costs.
things, all these things. But rather, we use all these data to play mind games with people, and that is the one thing that has been shown out also, portrayed out also. So that is where, again, data privacy is all coming up.
Right. And then we have a lot of companies who hold power to this data, and it is like very closed source. It's not like open to anybody else. Nobody can see what data they are acquiring. And Facebook has had multiple backlashes about how they had handled their data, how they had sold data to third party vendors for manipulating the elections and whatnot. And China has been multiple times accused of spreading data and censoring data and content that is not being shown to a certain type of people. So all these things happen, and there is also this issue where people want free speech and expect it from people who are trying to actually control them.
Correct.
So there is a big irony of that, and right now TikTok is being very scrutinized by US community, because like Meta wants the entire TikTok's market share, and they are trying to ban it right now in the US also. So there is like 150 million users across TikTok's access. And the one thing that, the key thing that they put in front of all these people is the data privacy that China is not doing basically, and America has done it over and over again with the Huawei ban and everything that China was leading in terms of 5G infrastructure. They are again trying with this also. And when you come to data privacy, I think Google also had a backlash for acquiring Fitbit, a company that was smartwatch that were tracking all this data, and people were like saying like you are handling too much of user data to make products for us. And I think people forgot. Like you said, like people forget after a certain point of time. And right now, Apple's core strategy is privacy. That is the only company I think at large is giving out vibes like Apple is privacy, but still Apple has Apple advertising inside it. So it's kind of a ball game that all these brands, like top 10 to 15 brands, playing all these games, and we at the end of the time like get pushed with, like we spoke in the Gen Z generation, like they use their data to see, okay, this person can be manipulated in this way, right? And that is happening. And what do you think was the privacy percentage of our lives when we were younger, and what do you think is the privacy percentage of people who are right now existing? It has gone up, it has risen up very drastically, right?
There is privacy percentage.
Now, what I mean by is like the amount of data you could actually spend out was like very minimal, right, at that time.
I think it is the same, because back then the amount of activity, digital activity that we had was not this much. And digital activity is right, it is just now in its peak. So that is why we are feeling that we are giving so much of data as an individual. But all throughout our lives, as we said earlier, throughout all these generations, we have always only been giving data. Right. And only through that data.
And consent, with consent.
Nobody cares about your consent or my consent. It does not matter in that big game also. Nobody cares. I think the word data privacy. These are all capitalistic ways of again controlling us. These boomers sitting on top, fear of change. They are creating something new like this so that we talk about it more and more and more
multiple
and
times.
multiple times, and they get the ability to make money out of it and manipulate us more. So it is, I read in a book that the amount of data that Hitler had was one reason why he was able to eliminate so much of Jews.
Right.
So that is the power that these
Data
people
ha-
have.
data has.
Data has, and that is the same power now we have put these guys to with. But we hope that they do not use it in the wrong way, but they are using it in the wrong way because during the time of Hitler, violence was really cutting and killing, but now violence is much different. Violence is only playing with the psychology of the people. So if these companies want to eradicate a certain country or a certain group of people, they have the power right now. So this is the concern that countries should have, not as individuals,
And
we should have.
micro communities.
We have already been giving data. They have if you have a voters ID, they know much about you. You need not worry. If you have a voters ID or a ration card, if you are in India, they know everything about you, because we think we are all different. We are all doing the same thing. They know it. We just do not know it. We think we are different. We imagine we are different. But when you're going to sit and talk with another person for half an hour, any stranger for half an hour, who would have in the same economic zone as you would immediately say, yeah, even I did that. Yes, even it happens to me. So we are all the same. So it is known. The guys on top, the people in power, the people in politics, they all know all these things. So data privacy, only these countries, if they want this to exist, it is a war. Data privacy is basically the war in next level. So I think that is why US and America, they are fighting
Constantly
so much.
fighting.
And India does not want to be manipulated by China, but it is okay to be manipulated by the US. And
As long as you are getting benefits from the country.
as long as the heads of India's are being funded
Directly by the country.
Yes, yes. And so I think that's it. So data privacy for us, it is not going to affect us directly. But we should know to choose what we consume from these big corporations.
So I used to always tell people like, do not consume what the algorithm serves you. Like if you want to learn more about something, just go search for it and find what is available for you. And if you don't agree with certain things, do not engage it. But a lot of things usually happen is like, I'm seeing this again and again. It's not because like the algorithm is wanting to show you, but it is like trying to mimic a percentage of content that you think or it thinks that you can be shown to you. And in a percentage of that, it also shows you things that it wants you to know also. Like for example, like you always tell like certain videos are being pushed to you because like China pati, there'll be a lot of videos and there'll be like defaming and
both faming and defaming, they are easily,
and it'll have a pattern also. And in 7 days it will vanish and new videos will come out.
It's so easy. But now, like after, I'm not sure is it that I'm able to take this decision after a particular age, or it is I'm so cautiously looking for these patterns. But previously I did not understand this. I thought it was all happy things that is happening. But now I am able to understand the pattern. So I think very soon all of us will be able to, as you said, you just told, people are telling that it is showing.
It's showing.
So I think all of us are able to understand this pattern. I think we recently had a conversation with Jerome. And he asked us, he asked a question like, what do you think the people are going to consume in the future? We are consumers. Basically, we are human beings. So any biologist, we need to consume. Our eyes need to consume. Our ears need to consume. That's why we have all these senses. We will be consuming only authentic content. We will stop consuming, content that is paid, that has got links with big brands. If any of those things are going to appear on
Any kind
screen,
of push that is
we are
potentially
immediately
seen.
going to skip.
Right.
So we will skip it. We will do it. We will only watch things that are authentic. Authentic is nothing but, it is just me. I have no background stories or something, I am hiding behind, and we will easily be able to spot it.
Right.
So we will stop watching all those things. I think, people maybe after a particular age, who have filled their heads with certain layers and layers and layers of reality, about politics, about countries, about business. Only those are the minds that, will not be freed from this,
Same thing.
from the all the others, especially the younger people whom we spoke about in our last episode, the Gen Z. You said they are truthful, they are, and all these things. So they will easily snap out of all these things. For them,
It's like no attachment, no detachment. Right?
so they know, they understand because they are authentic. Basically, they are authentic, so they know to identify authenticity, and they will only watch authentic things.
Right. And it is very surreal to see a generation full of people who are open to sharing content. And Gen Z, as I said, like they are very open to sharing content. They are willing to share their location. And I've seen a lot of TikToks and reels about Gen Z trying to accept depression, accept multicultural diversity, and they are very very open to having anybody to be connected with them regardless of what they are. And I think that shows a data where coming from a perspective of people who had not all this kind of inclusivity right now in America or in India, but when they are coming together, like we are just one and they are coming together for a lot of different causes. And I think that kind of sharing and communication is going to be, as you always tell, a future oneness and community building is happening. So I think with their ability to share data on a very closer level, saying like I have nothing to hide, is itself a big thing. But these big companies, oh, you have nothing to hide, okay, you like all these things, okay, I want to sell it to you. So that is where the discrepancy happens. And these companies should be scrutinized, but there is no constant, because like anytime Google or Facebook is accused with certain things like this, they'll always evade this, saying like no, it was for this reason.
No, the accusation itself is, we have started talking like this, many people will start talking. So, this accusation is all, just to mask us, saying, they are under, they are under scrutiny. It's all nothing, these corporates, these countries, they are playing the grand game. I remember, Modi's election campaign, his first time becoming prime minister.
2014.
14.
Yeah, 14, 9, 14.
14, I remember. And I do not remember the exact name of the act that he wanted to pass. But the objective of the act was to, people in power, the politicians, they have to be transparent to the public if asked upon.
Okay. Any detail about that?
I think all their financial details,
Okay.
transactional details, if asked upon, they have to share. Something like this, but I'm not sure how effectively.
How many people asked for it or anything?
Or the bill has been passed, so we did not. We have not followed up through. But
it was just in the manifesto.
But all these big marketing companies, they should do
this, right?
They have to do this.
And one thing that recently happened was Twitter has made their algorithm codes open source. Elon Musk has actually given all the code open source.
I am unable to believe that is the truth.
No, actually, that code is how do I put it? If you can take the code, run it in one server, it will run with the same data. Like for example, if you are seeing a certain person recommended to you, that thing will be replicated, and you can test it yourself.
No, I don't understand.
Like for example, let's say you think Elon Musk tweets is shown to everybody, and you think that is the algorithm, and they are pushing it. And if you take the open source code and you can actually verify the data by running it in your own server.
Okay.
And that data will actually synchronize. like you can there will be a model that will say like this is the social graph, this is the engagement graph, and that graph will be followed in that code itself. I think it happened just I think 1 week back, based upon the time this
But
video goes.
is Elon Musk ready to restart the whole platform?
I think he was trying to take it down and start, but I don't think he's doing it.
He's doing it. Okay.
And they've already lost so much money. I think the blue verification badge is now like 600 rupees per month, and the gold verification badge is like 83,000 per month.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think
Elon Musk is building his reputation.
Yeah, I think he's also being transparent right now.
He's trying to build his reputation.
And I think his goal was to make OpenAI open source also, but actually OpenAI started as an open source company, but they later become closed source, and they become from non-for-profit to now for-profit company. Okay. And he has also invested I think $100 million into it because it was a non-profit, but they changed his profit, and he started commenting on the OpenAI APIs, OpenAI's CEO's tweet saying, where do my $100 million come into factor if you are now for-profit? Do I have shares and stuff like that? Okay. So, and I think that right now the CEOs even are trying to be very transparent. Now that you tell, I think a lot of CEOs have started personal branding, and they are sharing more than ever. And I think what Modi has done in 2014 about everybody has to be transparent. I think it is starting to become more,
It is not. What do you say? It is not.
Their willingness to share.
It is not their willingness to share. Basically, how this giant mechanism works is, there are only two ways to move this unmovable object is when their customers demand more. Okay, because they run by from their customers, they run the customer is what is rotating the machine finally at the end of the day. And your customer is bored of you, a customer does not like you. So then you have to play for your customer. Unless, so I think we were speaking about this force. It is slowly becoming more and more powerful.
Right. Yeah, and I think
I've seen that also. Like recently, I have seen videos of a guy chair an academy.
Yeah, very very intellectual guy.
He shows brands
logo
about there, and that is.
And I think he was actually called off for something, for a defamation case, and it was a company, I think I forgot the name, I think it's Nestle or something. So this guy starts the video saying, you might have seen a video of me talking about this brand like this, and they have sent me a cease and desist letter, and I really wanted to tell you this. And that is the video, and everybody was like, I thought like we were going.
So these are the kind of people we will follow. The authentic people.
Right.
The unauthentic people we will not follow.
Right. And that was the initial loop that we had. Yes. And yeah, I think with that amazing statement, I think we can close this episode. And right now, it's amazing for the fact that Melvin Bhaiya. So and I think it's fantastic that data privacy is being scrutinized by a lot of people, and brands are trying to be held accountable for the data and what they are doing with the data, and people are starting to question every single thing that the companies are doing. And with that in mind, make sure that the data that you share is in the right amounts, and not just anything and everything that you put online can be held against you. And with the rise in deep fakes and photomorphism and everything, anything can be done with your data and with your ability to provide data to the market and be used upon you yourself. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for staying in, and save your data, and have a great day. Bye.
Reach Skyline. Embrace digital.